All right, what is up, my brothers? This is going to be a community-only video, just unique to you guys that are in my membership. So I want to talk about the end game of game, because one of the more advanced questions that comes up often from members is, well, what's the point of all this? Where does it end? Where does it stop? Do you just continue to spin plates forever? How do you deal with it in an LTR and a marriage and all that stuff? So these are all really, really good questions because, I've often thought about this too. Like, where does this end? Like, I've been in an LTR now for a few years, and I still find myself using a lot of this, red pill knowledge and content for myself, for my own benefit, and so I don't screw myself up again. Because we tend to do that as guys, right? We're real good at complicating our lives and justifying why we do it. So the too long didn't read version of the blog post, which is really a video, is the end point, like the end game for game is really you become the game. You don't even think about it. You're doing it as you kind of go about life in every area of life. You can apply the red pill lens, which is really questioning comforting lies and looking for uncomfortable truths that might be a better way to adapt and respond to these, to this unique world that we live in as guys. Shit's really not what we've been told it's supposed to be, and it's quite a bit different, as we've all experienced, the more senior members anyway that have been out there for several months, if not years. I use this example in a brief video that I posted to the community tab, which is worth mentioning again because I know not everybody may see that, or there might be future members that come in that may miss the post. But this is a very, very good example. I was on a call the other day, and kind of like a little bit of insider thing for you guys. I'm working on putting together a male supplement line with a white label sort of deal, sort of branding it with my own thing. So the guy that's introduced me to the company that facilitates, obviously the product and the package and all that stuff. They have a marketing team. They have a doctor on staff that helps you coordinate everything that you need. So I'm on a call with him, this other woman who's a marketing chick, and then this other woman who's this, I think she's a naturopathic doctor. She's a doctor. One of the two. Either way, she's a resident expert that helps brands put together different lineups in what they feel should be in the lineup to help facilitate the goals. So optimized testosterone, estrogen metabolism, vitamin D's and K2s, all the stuff that needs to be kind of worked in the lineup. I'm going to set that aside for a second, but I want to talk about what happened at the end of the call. Both of these women were, I think they were younger, probably late 20s, maybe 30 or so max. And at the end of the call, he sends me a message on Messenger, and he's like, these chicks were like all over you. They were calling me daddy. That guy sounds hot. Wow, I can't wait to meet him when we have the next meeting. Like, they're basically indicating that they've got very, very high levels of interest in a guy that was really just in a call for business purposes. I made no sexual advances. I made no, hey, let's get a drink or let's date or anything like that. I was just being me. That's what game is. That's what internalizing game is basically on that call, it was voice game, right? I naturally, in an environment when I'm having a conversation, especially in a group, will by default, because I have become the game and I'm getting better at doing it on a more consistent basis, I still waver in and out sometimes, but on a balance of probabilities, I'm behaving like I am the game. I'm demonstrating higher value. I've got the strong masculine voice. I'm confident in everything that I'm discussing. I make sure that I set the tone for the next meeting, what time it's going to be. The women that are in the group are definitely in my frame and accommodating me when I need them to accommodate me. So there's all those things that happen at the end of it. And the dude's like, wow, how the hell did you do that, right? And it's like, I didn't even think about it, okay? And that's what internalizing game really means. That's what becoming the game actually means. And you don't just, use it in business transactions. You're going to start to notice yourself using it as you go about life. You're at the bank teller. You're on the phone with somebody at your investment holdings. For me, it's like TD Waterhouse. So you got to go through all these menus and bullshit, and you talk to sometimes two different people, just the way the banks are today. But it's like you find these women will respond very, very positively, and even guys too. And it's not like I'm trying to game them or anything like that in a gay way, but it's just because I stand out from the crowd. I have those leadership qualities that naturally just permeate because I've been working towards becoming this better version of myself that internalizes, red pill awareness and using game in everything that I do. And you can turn it up a little bit more, if you're one of these guys that wants to, just slam a ton of pussy, if you're spinning plates, if you're in an open relationship, you can turn it up a lot more and turn it into a lot more opportunities for yourself. But at the end of the day, realistically, you don't turn it off ever. It's kind of like who you become, and women want to be with you when you become that guy, and guys ask or want to become more like you. They ask how to become more like you, or they want to become more like you, based on how you portray yourself and how you behave out there in the world. Guys that have been in the community for a while, in the 1%, and they've seen the posts, they'll see some of the more senior members, and guys like Jeff D, Ray, Xander, like there's so many names that I could go through that it's like, they post all these field reports, these screenshots of conversations, all the stuff that's going on, and you can see how well women in the world in general respond positively to game, once you become the game. And all of these guys will say the exact same thing. It's like they don't notice that that's what they've become. It's just internalized with them. And that's where you want to get. That's really what the end result is. Like, that's what the end point is of game, is becoming it and just using it naturally, so that mental point of origin is always the default to which you go to with any choice, decision, interaction, all that, which is really the next really, really big point with all this, is the mental point of origin component, the putting yourself first. Because you guys know this that have been around for a while. Some of the newer guys will appreciate this fact, but a lot of guys, they've just spent their entire lifetime bending the knee for women. Let's become less so women can become more, be more accommodating, be more humble, be more kind, blah, blah, fucking blah. Like, you guys that have been around for a while have heard all the lyrics. Even if you haven't, you're starting to hear them more and more. And you'll notice them a lot, It's getting close to Christmas right now, but you'll notice them a lot around the holidays at, family events and gatherings. When you've got yourself together and you hold yourself out in a strong, positive, masculine, virtuous type of frame, where you put yourself first, where you don't make concessions where they don't need to be made, you don't play this fucking, politically correct softy card all the time, like, society's trying to condition men to be. Really, they want guys to be soy boys. They want you weak. They want you compliant. They want you wearing masks everywhere you go. It's why you see these putzes walking down the street with a fucking mask on, all by themselves, with nobody around them, or driving their cars with the windows up with a mask, on, all by themselves. And it's like, society is getting dumber and weaker, and that's fine. And that's cool, actually. If anything, it's a good thing for guys like us that have internalized game, that are the game, because you will stand out. It's almost impossible not to stand out. And for your friends, your family, society in general, and women in your life to defer to you on a natural basis. There's a really good story that Rollo told one time. I don't know, he was out at a liquor event, I think he said, and he got a phone call in front of a bunch of other people, and I believe he might have put this on speakerphone when he took the call. But long story short, basically his wife called him because she wanted to spend a couple $100s on makeup. Obviously her money, I mean, she's got her own job, and she's calling him to ask permission to go ahead and do that. That's game. That's women deferring to you on a consistent basis. And they won't always do that. It's going to take a while for her to, it's like breaking the horse. Like women are like these Mustangs today, most of them anyway, where they've been fed this steady diet of, you don't need no man, and you can do it all yourself, and the patriarchy is oppressing you. And, you guys have heard all the lyrics and the narratives. So even when you get into a relationship with a chick, you're still going to have to break the horse, right? You're still going to have to, deal with her addiction to social media, her addiction to validation and attention online or outside of online, because she's been drunk on it her entire life. So it's really, really important to use it in all areas, even in LTRs, and always course correct in women that are involved in your life, even in business transactions. I think about this often. Like I've in the past and in the recent history, in fact, yielded to some pretty fucking like stupid and even risky business proposals and ideas. And of course, you know, if you followed me long enough, you've probably seen me say, fuck this, I'm out, very, very quickly. I always say hire very slowly and fire very quickly. And that's another component of internalizing game, becoming the game. So don't be afraid to, you know, take it to the next level, right? You know, to the advanced stages of where guys need to get to, because it's not just limited to, oh, I know how to spin plates, or I know how to game this chick, or I know how to get in her pants, or I know how to deal with shit tests and all that sort of stuff. When you find yourself still evaluating it and thinking it on a conscious basis, you're still learning game, you're still getting more red pill aware, you're still leaning more into a category or into a zone that, you know, defaults to mental point of origin, right? When it goes to your subconscious, when your subconscious mind internalizes game, where you don't care about if somebody's hitting on your chick, you don't care about the risk of one-itis because you're a guy that's spoiled for choice, that knows that he has options in his life, that can quickly move or bring in multiple women if he wants to, if, you know, if his LTR loses her mind and she wants to bounce on him, or something bizarre happens in a marriage or a relationship or something, you just don't worry about those things. And that's what the end game of game is. And I don't know very many guys that get to that point, or that can get to the point. Sometimes guys start taking, you know, the red pill, and they go and learn all these new concepts and notions, and then they get to like a difficult place where they have to take a break for a while, and it's like, I don't want to watch videos anymore, Rich. I don't want to go to conferences. I don't want to be in a community. I just want to take a break from this all because it's overwhelming. And what I would tell guys that get to that point is, well, that's painful. That's you looking at something that's difficult to deal with, and that's pain. And I would suggest leaning more into the pain, walking towards it. Okay. There's a lot of different techniques that you can use to do that. You know, consciously, you can obviously make that choice and that decision. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, there might be guys that might need, you know, one-on-one consulting. There might be guys that might even want to consider, you know, dealing with the PTSD that usually leads to them being afraid to lean into the pain, to lean into the darkness, to kind of move towards that so that they can deal with it. Things like psilocybin and microdosing can help with it. I've used that a little bit. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about it on an in-depth video separately for it. But microdosing really, really helps, you know, reconnect those neural pathways so that you can form those bonds and kind of lean into that darkness. And I'm not saying lean into the darkness, go to a dark place, but to deal with the pain so that you can push past it. You know, that light at the end of the tunnel, because that's really what it boils down to. It's like you're in a dark tunnel. You know it's dark, it sucks. You see this like pinhole of light at the end of it, and you're like, fuck it, I don't want to go to that right now. I want to take a break from all that and sit in the tunnel. And you know, that's one thing that you can do. You can sit in that dark tunnel, but at the end of the day, when you lean into the darkness and you keep going forward and you internalize a game and then you become it, at some point you reach the end of the tunnel where that light, where that pinhole of light was, and then you reach light, and it all encompasses you. That's the end point of game. So I hope that makes sense, because I don't know any other way to make it any clearer, because that's really what it truthfully boils down to is, you know, that is the end point of game, is internalizing game and becoming it. So I hope that helps you guys. I'm going to, of course, post this on the website, and I will also post it to the Facebook community. So if you have any questions, you can post them in the comments of the video. I'll respond to them all, or you can post them to the Facebook page. I will definitely keep an eye open for any clarifying questions. I'm stuck on this and that, but I'm here for you guys. That's the end point of game, internalizing it and becoming it, so that it's embedded not just in your conscious mind, but it also becomes you. It becomes who you are and is now part of your subconscious mind. Anyway, love you guys. Hope you're having an awesome day. Peace out.